Yay. Hi, everyone. It's Virginia Stanley, Lainey Mays, and Grace Caternolo. Welcome to another episode of um, Galley Gab Fest. We hope that you're all snuggled in and ready to hear about some really cool books, some cookbooks, some real fun recipes. So, without further ado, we have a really wonderful lineup today. We have Priya Krishna, who will be speaking to us live and doing some demos. And then Grace, Lainey, and I will attempt to not burn our respective homes down and demo some other cookbooks. Okay, Lainey, over to you, my friend.
Hi, thank you. Okay, welcome, Priya. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to do a quick intro. Well, I'm going to try to be quick. There's a lot to say about this exciting book, but then we'll hand it over to you. So, Priya Krishna is a food reporter and video host for the New York Times and best-selling author of multiple cookbooks, including Indianish and Cooking at Home. Her stories have been included in the 2019 and 2021 editions of the Best American Food Writing, and in 2021, she was named Forbes 30 Under 30 list. Priya's forthcoming book, Priya's Kitchen Adventures, a cookbook for kids, is an illustrated cookbook for kids and their parents that draws on Priya's childhood experiences traveling the globe with her family. The whole family will love making making food from this, tasting each kid tested recipe, brought to life with vivid photos and colorful illustrations, plus step-by-step how-to photos. They'll come to discover what Priya was lucky to learn as a kid, that cooking is one of our greatest superpowers, allowing us to travel in our own kitchens and learn about incredible places and cultures, but minus the jet lag. There are so many great recipes in so many countries covered, and I'll let you talk a little bit about that. I know like Greece and Peru, and we're going to talk about Mexico later, but wonderful recipes too. And it's on sale April 30th, and maybe I'll read some, but I don't want to take from what you're going to say. So I'm going to hand it over to you first. Thank you, Priya.
All right. My turn. Okay. Well, hi, I'm so just beyond excited to be here. I can't believe it's finally time for the book to be out. I've been working on it for so many years, and to see a real physical book is so crazy. But the other reason I'm really excited to be here is I really love libraries. I kind of grew up in my local library, Farmers Branch Mansk Library in Dallas, Texas. Over the summers, my parents didn't let me go to summer camp because it was too expensive. So instead, I just had my dad drop me off at the library and then pick me up at the end of the day. And I read. I remember I volunteered. I restocked books. And libraries really like opened me up to the world and introduced me to books that I otherwise probably wouldn't have known. And I ended up volunteering at my local library as a high schooler. And as a cookbook author, it's just felt really important to get my book in the hands of libraries, because not everyone can afford to buy a book and keep it on their shelf. And libraries are just like a really great way for anyone to have access to really great cookbooks. So thank you, librarians, for doing what you do. I appreciate it so much. So to talk a little bit about my book, this book, Priya's Kitchen Adventures, sometimes I ask myself, like, Priya, why did you write a kid's cookbook? You're not a parent. You've written adult cookbooks your whole life. You've written about food for adults. Like, why a kid's cookbook? So I wrote this cookbook called Indianish, and it was about the cooking that I grew up with, my mom's cooking. And it was just like an ode to family, an ode to Indian American food, and I hoped an entry point into Indian flavors. Oh, am I still here? Oh, sorry. I think it just cut out. Can you all hear me? Am I good?
Yeah, all good.
And it was sort of an intro to Indian flavors for people who were unfamiliar with those. Sorry, my phone is like ringing on this side. And one of the things that one of my editors said after I published that cookbook was, your tone is so youthful. Have you considered writing a book for kids? And I thought, no, I hadn't. But then I thought back to my childhood. And when I was a kid, my mom worked in the airline industry. And so we were lucky enough to get to travel all over the world. I don't know if you have a friend who's worked in the airline industry, you know that, you pack a bag with like a ski suit and flip-flops, you show up to the airport and you see what flight you can stand by on. And if there's room, you squeeze into the back of the plane to a middle seat, but you get to go to Paris, to Cairo, to London. And so that was my childhood. And I would go there to these places. My mom and I would eat, we would come home and we would think about what we had eaten and figure out how to recreate it in our own home kitchen. And it was one of the best parts of my childhood. It was how I became interested in writing about food in the first place, was these trips with my mom. I also loved cooking as a young kid, but I found that a lot of the cookbooks that I encountered, I feel like they weren't written for me. They didn't have kids in them with names that sounded like mine. They were often written by authors who were white. The recipes felt really dumbed down for kids, like fruit soup and turkey roll-ups. And I wanted food I'd be proud to put on the dinner table and serve to my parents. I wanted to feel like an adult, even though I was a kid. So all of that went into making this book what it is. This book is your ticket to learning about the foods around the world, but to do so in a very accessible, fun, and kid-tested way. I worked with 30 recipe testers, all kids, and they gave me amazing feedback, ranging from this gratin is better than tater tots to this noodle soup is yucky. And I cut the noodle soup because of that feedback. So this book is truly an ode to my childhood, but I hope like a entry point for, kids of, 8 to 11, but really kids of all ages into discovering the world around them and doing it through these very doable recipes. I feel like kids' books for so long have talked down to kids, and I want to meet kids exactly where they are, which is they've never been more interested in food. They're curious. I think they're more open-minded than we give them credit for. And my recipe tester showed me just how capable young kid cooks are these days. So that's what this book is about, what you can expect. Recipes from everywhere from France to China to Trinidad and Tobago to Peru. I've got step by steps, which I don't know, do we have a photo of the step by steps? There we go. Step by step, so kids can visualize each of the steps, and tips along the way, tips that I gleaned from the kids who helped recipe test, tips from my recipe testers, ways to adapt the recipes according to your tastes, signs if something requires a parent's help. But my hope is that this will inspire kids to be independent. Oh, and also embarrassing childhood photos of me, crucially. Okay, so I'm going to make one of the recipes from the book. This is from the Mexico chapter. It is called elotes. When I was in Mexico, I fell in love. Oh, I love that miso ramen photo. That's my cousin Radhika, who was my model for the cookbook. She made that pasta. That's like her making fresh pasta herself. That's my other cousin Rishika's hands. She's 6 years old and tested all the recipes in this book. All right. Elotes. So this is a Mexican street corn. I absolutely fell in love with this dish in Mexico. It's what's not to love about like fresh corn that's just lathered up with, butter and salt. This takes that to another level. It's fresh corn lathered in mayonnaise, cheese, cilantro, ancho chili powder. It's just like a burst of flavor, and it's so easy to make. So you start with your corn, you stick that in the microwave or in a pan for a couple of minutes. And that's just gonna cook for a few minutes. If you don't have a microwave, you can do this in a pan. If you have a grill, if your parent is like is grilling, stick the corn on the grill. I love the little charred bits that get on the corn. And in the meantime, we're gonna assemble our crema. So you're gonna just basically mix mayonnaise. I love when mayonnaise burps like this. Ugh. mayonnaise and sour cream in a bowl. And if you don't have sour cream or mayonnaise, like you can kind of use whatever you've got in the fridge. In a pinch, I've used like mascarpone for this. And if you're in a Mexican grocery store, they sell something called crema, which is how this is traditionally made. So you're just gonna mix this together. And then we're gonna add some ancho chili powder. I like ancho chili powder because it's smoky, but it's not like like light your mouth on fire hot. So it's really good for kids, and it has like this really nice complex flavor. And then we're gonna add a little bit of salt. We would add cilantro, but my husband decided that he wanted to make chutney last night, so he stole my cilantro. So we are gonna go cilantro-less, but the beauty of elotes is that you can kind of make it with whatever you have. And if, I know a lot of people don't have the gene for cilantro, it tastes like soap to them, then that's totally fine. And then we're gonna crumble our queso fresco. Queso fresco is, in my opinion, I think it's like a top 5. It's a top 5 cheese for me. It has this like really amazing crumbly texture. And then, oh, yum. It has this like very like lovely salty taste to it. And look how beautifully it crumbles on the plate. Like the crumbling between your fingers is such a fun thing to do. When I was making this with my cousins Radhika and Rishika, their favorite thing was just like feeling the crumble of the queso fresco between their fingers. Okay. Yum. Great. I'm going to crumble a little more cheese. Some people, I can't remember what this recipe calls for, maybe like a cup. I always put a little bit more cheese. My mom always tells me that I like cheese too much and that I need to, cool it on the cheese in my recipes. But you'll notice in all my head notes, I'm like, more cheese if you want it. Don't hold back. I'm going to wash my hands real quick.
It does look like it says 1 cup of the cheese. And also I'm always here for a recipe that tells me more cheese, like done. Yes.
Totally agree. And same with the cilantro thing, like huge cilantro fans.
Huge cilantro fans. Oh my God, I'm so happy to hear that. I'm gonna cut a lime in half. This lime juice is essential in this recipe because you've got all this rich stuff. So you wanna cut it with the lime juice. And one of the things I really love about this book and these recipes is like, all these recipes are very much ways to build really complex flavor that you get in all these countries, a Moroccan tagine, a Mexican elotes, but to do it very simply using just a couple ingredients. So you'll notice a lot of the recipes in this book are 7, 6 ingredients or less, and things you can find at your local grocery store because, grocery stores have become more international. Our tastes have become more international. And, I had kids telling me how much they loved the taste of miso or fish sauce or chili crisp or soy sauce or queso fresco. And it was really exciting to see their minds get opened. But I also think it's a result of just like the society we live in, which is certainly these flavors are much more accessible than they used to be. Oop. I am going to microwave this for another minute or 2. Oh. While this microwaves, does anyone have any questions for me that I can answer?
Yeah, we have one in the chat. Maureen Roberts asked, would you put this book in the kids section or the adult section of the library?
It's a book for kids. So I would very much put this in the kids section. It is a cookbook for kids. That said, when I announced this cookbook, a number of adults reached out to me and were like, this seems like it is the appropriate level for me, someone who hates chopping and is trying to cook with the least number of ingredients possible. So yes, this is a book for kids ages 8 to 11, but it is also a book for adults who hate chopping and who would, want to get dinner on the table with as few dishes as possible. And I think that's kind of what I love about this book is like, this is not like kid food. I want to redefine what kid food means. Like kids and adults can share the same food at the same table. And, kids don't need to make like, they don't need to make like fruit soup or turkey roll-ups in order for it to be a kid recipe. Like elotes can be a kid recipe because they're easy and kid-friendly and they're delicious, but they also have universal appeal. What's not to like about corn and cheese and lime? Yum. Great question.
I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
think
a
it's
perfect.
also what you, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that I think it's a perfect crossover. They're kid-friendly recipes. You need adults in the kitchen to oversee, but also everybody's got different abilities in the kitchen. And so I think that just looking at the recipes and also just sort of armchair traveling with you is fun for all ages. I think this book is really, Maureen, put them in both sections because it really I think ticks the boxes.
I love that. Yeah, I will say one of the most fun parts of this book was just recounting childhood memories. So like not only can you get recipes, but you hear about that time that we fished for piranhas in the Amazon jungle, or when I climbed inside a tomb in Egypt. And so I literally took my diaries from when I was little and read through them. And like what you're seeing is just like me just translating my diaries, which I wrote a lot of detailed descriptions of food in these diaries. You can really tell that I was destined to become a food writer looking at my diaries from when I'm 8 years old. But yeah, I like the stories as much as I like the recipes. All right, so our corn out of the microwave smells amazing, very corny. So what we're gonna do is just spritz the outside with lime juice. Yum. And this is like what is going to make sure that we don't end up with something too rich and too heavy. You really need the lime juice. And this is like, there's just infinite ways to substitute. I always like to talk about substitutions because I think it's so important to make recipes as accessible to as many people as possible. If you don't have ancho chili powder, use the red chili powder you have. If you don't have queso fresco, you could use feta cheese. If you don't have limes, you can use lemons. The possibilities here are endless. Like just, you're trying to combine acid and richness and a little bit of spice on corn. And you know what? We're using corn because elotes is used with corn, but you can elote a lot of things. I think there are a lot of vegetables that would do well to be eloted. Elote can be a verb. All right, so I'm just slathering the crema on here, which is very easy. The kids who tested this also loved how messy their hands got. It's like a little art project building your elotes here. And then I've got my plate of crumbled cheese. I'm gonna just do that. And look, nicely gets coated. I'm gonna do the same with this. Oh man, I am getting very hungry. This is my lunch.
I think the only mistake we made is not being close to you when you're making this so
I
that
know,
we could try it.
It's so weird. Like I wish I had you guys on the other side of the dining table so I could serve you. All right, so now I'm just gonna roll it in here until everything gets nice and queso fresco-y. We're really trying to just like, yeah, clump it up on all sides. Where's my... And then what you're gonna do is put a little bit more chili powder on the side, just like that. All right, and then you can just keep rotating it and make sure you get that chili powder on all sides. Doesn't that look, it looks so pretty. You can kind of see, it's like getting nice and colorful. Imagine how nice it would look with the cilantro if my husband hadn't eaten it all last night. And then you're gonna chop your cilantro and put that on if you have your cilantro. And then you're gonna finish. I like finishing with just a little bit more lime juice, because you get that like sort of hit of brightness. And there you have it. That is like the easiest party app. It is creamy, it is cheesy, it is bright. And you know, if your kid is cooking this and they've never been to Mexico or they haven't been exposed to Mexican flavors, this will introduce them to something that's delicious and easy and fun and bright, and will hopefully expand their curiosity about the world. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna eat this. Mm,
Oh,
so good.
it looks so
Oh my God, that looks so good.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm on a street stand in Mexico eating elotes, you know?
At
We're
one time
armchair traveling via your kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
I love
uh,
that.
I
We have
one
a
time
great,
saw a, oh, go ahead.
no, I was just going to read this neat comment from Jennifer Winberry, who kind of just said what you said, Priya. I think it's good to introduce children to a variety of food, let them try it, and if it isn't to their taste today, maybe later, but at least they shouldn't be afraid to try. They might be surprised.
I agree. And that exact sentence is in the book. That's like, you know, there's the trying new flavors is cooking is one of our great superpowers, and trying new flavors allows us to transport ourselves around the world. And you should always try things once, and maybe you don't like it, but then you come back to it later and you like it. My friend Chris once said, the food we don't love is just a language we haven't learned yet. And as a food writer, I always try to think of that when I taste something and it's not quite, it doesn't appeal to me just yet.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one thought is I like the agency because you can do it together and learn something, but it seems like it's also really great for kids who maybe are on their own. Like I think of when I wanted to make stuff, my mom's like, oh, how many ingredients we have to like buy at the store and like is that gonna make a mess? Like all these, but it seems very contained that they have a lot of agency to learn on their own too. And I think that that's really great. And the step-by-step pictures would be what I need.
And I've ranked the recipes by easy, medium, hard. So say, you've got a friend over, your parent working in the other kitchen, you can tell them, okay, you can make this recipe because I know this is like pretty self-contained, pretty easy. But then if you do have the time to be with your kid and help them in the kitchen, you can try one of the medium or the hard recipes, but they're categorized in that way for that reason.
Yeah, that's good.
We have another question. Maybe you could pull one from the easy section. Do you have a go-to dinner recipe for when you have no time/energy?
Let's look. You know what? The squash tostadas are pretty great. This recipe is essentially just assembly. You're sauteing squash with like garlic and onion, spreading some beans at the bottom of a tostada, putting your sauteed squash on top, and then you just avocado, maybe some pico, pickled onion. It's literally just dressing up a tostada and that's dinner. You can make it as complex or as easy as you want, but that's like a 10-minute dinner right there.
Nice.
Yes, please.
Well, yeah.
This was great. Thank you, Priya. This was really wonderful.
Of course. Thank you. I'm so excited about this book coming out. I'm so excited for it to be out in libraries, most of all. I just think of all the, like, hopefully the little Priyas who are spending their summers at the library reading about, travel and cooking and maybe trying these recipes for themselves at home. So thank you for what you do, and thank you for making cookbooks accessible to more people.
It's really great. Well, thank you. I can't wait for everyone to try and travel with you through this book. It's on sale April 30th. So everyone, librarians, go to your wholesalers. Everyone else, you can pre-order it now. I'm excited. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Priya. You take good care, and thanks for doing this for adults and for kids, and to get that conversation rolling right along with the rolling pin.
I love it. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. I wish we had some of that corn right now.
No, I'm very hungry now.
I know it.
To
All right.
That is exactly why I made my demo before this, so I had lunch. Brunch,
Yeah.
if you will.
Well, so here's the Library Love Fest team. We do many things. Being in the kitchen is, I think we have varying grades of, I don't know, not competency, but just confidence, perhaps. Maybe that's it. And I should probably only speak for myself, but here we are. In the
Yeah.
with Grace has got a pot on her head. All right, so now we've each taken a recipe from another cookbook. So Priya's, you know all about that book, and that's a really cool book. And we've all done a we're not in the kitchen right now. We've pre-recorded because we tried that once and it was fun, but it was also madness. So let's go to the next book, which is Keep It Zesty, a celebration of Lebanese flavors and culture from Eddie's Grocer. And this is by Eddie Massey, who is just a wonderful, wonderful cook and person. Hi, Fig. And and
Sorry.
no, don't be. We love to be infused by Fig.
The mute button, I didn't get there fast enough.
No, leave her. Let's hear from Fig. So Keep It Zesty is this book that's going on sale May 21st, and it's traditional Lebanese fare with a modern twist. It's got over 115 recipes, over 100 photographs. Eddie is a one-man catering and grocer owning powerhouse. He was born in Lebanon. He was influenced by his grandmother's cooking. He and his parents moved to Boston when he was 10. He grew up there and graduated from the Culinary Institute in 2016. And he started his own successful catering business. And then in 2020, he opened up his storefront, Eddie's Grocer, which is located in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. He has been featured on the Today Show, the Drew Barrymore Show, Rachel Ray, Food Network, everywhere. And he's named to the Forbes 30 Under 30 in the food and drink category. So this book and this author, this caterer, this chef, this wonderful business person with a wonderfully warm personality has brought this book, these wonderful recipes that will make your taste buds explode. So let's. So I went down to Greenpoint, Brooklyn, and talked to Eddie. So there's a little video here that I'll show you, and then I actually made one of his recipes. So Lenny, you want to hit the play button? Or?
Hey, it's Virginia from the Library Love Fest team at HarperCollins, and I'm here with Eddie Massey, whose new book will be coming out in May. It's called Keep It Zesty. We're here in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, in front of Eddie's store called Eddie's Grocer. Eddie, thank you so much.
Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Tell us about your book.
So, Keep It Zesty is coming out on May 21st, and it's got more than 115 recipes. All the recipes are from the grocer and things that I've been doing for the past 5 years with catering. It's all Lebanese recipes with my modern twist, things that I've learned from my grandmother, things that I've adapted over the years. And, the first chapter is really nice and thick. It's full of our meze dips, which are our biggest seller here at the grocer. Come on in.
Yum.
Come on in. There we go. Okay, so here we have the meze fridge with more than 30 different homemade dips and pickles that we make, and we're gonna pick out a few of them that are in the actual book. So we've got the hummus here with the dukkha, some Syrian muhammara, some baba ganoush, some marinated feta, one of my favorites, and then the staple of all staples, the spicy tomato jam. The spicy tomato jam is in so many different recipes, but the fun part is we have this takes about 8 hours to make, so we have a shortcut for it, where you can use marinara, make the Aleppo garlic oil on the side, and then add it all together to use it in different recipes. Of course, have a great day. Okay, now I'm finally going to do the pasta eating. are the pink and green shelves, which I know you've read a little bit about. So we've got all sorts of Middle Eastern staples over here, some of our homemade spices, which you can find in the pink and green shelf chapter. And you can find out how to make most of these spice blends.
And it's all so delicious. Eddie, in your book, not only do you offer up over 100 recipes and beautiful photographs, you talk about your family, you talk about growing up with your grandmothers and being influenced by their cooking, and you also talked to me a little bit more about libraries just now.
Yes.
You just want to tell everyone what you told me?
Yeah, so we, I grew up in Lebanon, so I was around my grandmothers all the time. So in this book, there is 6 different stories about the women that shaped me to be who I am today. Of course, my grandmothers, my mom, my sister, and then we've got Kiwi, who was our nanny, and then Oprah, of course, who's right behind us on the TV. And, I was just saying earlier that after school I would always find myself in the library because it was like a short walk away from the school. And it was so crazy to me, the public library. We didn't have those growing up in Lebanon, so it was so fun to me, like going and being able to check out books and having that card that slips in the back with the date on it, and having, just the 2 weeks to read the book to get it back in time. But also outside of just books, there was the DVDs and the CDs, and there was so many fun things that you could check out and bring back in. And the whole concept of the library was so fun to me. And now we live, the shop, and I live right on this block, is right around the corner from the brand new Greenpoint Library, and we're always, trying to donate to them and do some fun stuff there. And they have a really cool garden upstairs.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it really is.
So your book is already getting wonderful reviews.
Thank you.
And it's just it's an absolutely beautiful book. Susie from the Mediterranean Dish Cookbook says, oh my God, well, look at all these reviews. I don't lie. She says, keep it zesty, evokes home. Big family-style feasts along the shores of the Mediterranean. I got lost in the insane flowers of his Moroccan harissa minestrone. And that is what I'm going to attempt to make at home.
You're gonna do a great job, and I know it. So if you're making the Moroccan harissa minestrone, of course you need the harissa, which we already picked out. But I was also gonna say you need the couscous, and you can use either the fine couscous or the pro couscous. But I know you like the fine couscous, so let me grab that for you. So here we've got the couscous, and so on this shelf over here, any of our containers that we package here ourselves, you can come back and get it refilled at the grocer, which is something that we try to do to, stay part of the community, but also to have people come back and not waste a lot of containers. So this is the fine couscous.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much.
course.
And I will take pictures and show you how it came out. And,
I can't wait to see, and I hope you enjoy it.
I will enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed this cookbook. It's absolutely beautiful. Congratulations
Thank you
on this
so
beautiful
much.
store and this beautiful cookbook.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming in.
So that was Eddie, and he is just absolutely lovely. So now I did not videotape myself making the soup. However, we have some photographs to show the step by step, and I did not burn the house down. There's the jacket. Excuse me. And here are some sample spreads that you can find on Edelweiss, but I am telling you, this book offers breakfast, lunch, dinner, dips, drinks, dessert, the whole thing, and it's just so absolutely beautiful. And there's wonderful stories in there about his grandmothers and how they inspired him when he was a young child. This is this chapter 6 starts out with these wonderful stories about growing up in Lebanon, and I think also he was referencing Oprah Winfrey and that little pink television there. He just sometimes got bullied as a kid, and his grandparents, his grandmothers, and Oprah were his sort of go-to places, his little safe havens. So the next slide is the Moroccan harissa minestrone soup that I made, and with the help of my trusty sidekick, my wife Pat. It looks exactly like this, except I did use the fine couscous. So we have a couple of pictures to show. I think there's the recipe. And here are the dips on the left. with this beautiful beautiful pita breads, and you can zoom in, and the recipes for these dips are in the book. And then this picture on the right are the ingredients for the stew. There's celery and carrots and red bell peppers and onions and his own olive oil, which you can use your own, and harissa in the little tube, and tomatoes. Just fun. It's fun to do. And next is the process. So chopping, and the place smelled great. Adding everything in together, and there's the harissa. You can go a little stronger, you can go a little heavier, a little lighter, depending on your tolerance for spice. And some chickpeas. Okay, and there's the stove, fairly clean. Next, and couscous, and then just taking all of this and putting it in vegetable stock and water, and then some parsley, and then you put it over couscous, and it's yumolicious. So if you are in the New York area, go to Eddie's Grocer. If you're not in the New York area, you don't have to be, because everything is in the book. Wonderful stories and wonderful everything. Food. Okay, that's me. Thank you, Eddie.
That store looked like a feast for the eyes. It was so pretty in there. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, it's great.
And Maureen Roberts said, love the on-location reporting. That store looks amazing.
Well, thank you, Maureen.
And there's the cover.
Keep it zesty. Eddie Massey. Wonderful. Just wonderful.
Well,
Okay. Who's next?
All right. So I did a recipe from Anything's Postable by Dan Pashman. I love pasta. I had to pick something that is Italian based, honoring my family. But I wanted to do something that wasn't just like your typical pasta. So I pulled something from the bake section, which is funny considering the dish isn't even technically baked, which he mentions it. It just, I think it fit best in that section. And I had a friend join me who you're going to see. And we made this morning. So I just ate this. It was delicious. And yeah, I get to tell you a little bit about Dan. But before I get there, I just wanted to say that I'm going to Greenpoint tonight, and V has fully convinced me to go to Eddie's. So I'm going to do that. And if I pick something up, maybe I'll post on the Instagram story about it. But yeah, so we have some spreads, really cool sections about different things like stews and like thicker pastas, and just really cool things like pastas with different textures. And yeah, also Dan made his own pasta, like pasta shape, which is what you're seeing there, which is super cool. I wish I could make a pasta shape. And we have one more spread, I think. Yeah, one or two more, like, come on. And the plating is beautiful. And I think with pasta, it's really easy to get stuck into like the same few dishes. And Dan was like, no more. Here's every pasta you could ever imagine. So I made the pasta this morning. It was, I'll explain it. So I recorded that. Lane's gonna pull it up and you can watch me and a friend. Hi everybody, my name is Grace Caternolo and I'm the library marketing assistant at HarperCollins, and you're probably like, who's this guy next to me? We did not get a fourth member on the Library Love Fest team. This is Giancarlo, close friend, chef, and he's going to be helping me out today.
Yes.
Yes, chef. We are going to be making pasta frittata from Dan Pashman's Anything's Possible. Giancarlo is essentially my sous chef because the last couple of times I've cooked, I've set off my fire alarm. So if you live in Brooklyn, New York, and you have a really annoying neighbor, it could be me. The reason I chose this recipe is I love breakfast and I love pasta, and there's not many breakfast pastas. Dan does mention that carbonara is essentially just eggs, bacon, and cheese. But I wanted to mix it up and we're gonna make something delicious. Before we get started, I want to tell you a bit about Dan. His podcast, The Sporkful, has won the Webby Award and the James Beard Award. He's essentially a pasta influencer, which is now my second dream job, after being a library marketer, of course. And I'm just so excited to show you a recipe from this book. There's 81 recipes, something for everyone, and this is just one look into what you can make. Okay, and we have our ingredients: salt and pepper, of course, ground nutmeg, olive oil, milk. You're supposed to use Parmesan, but I had Romano, so that's what I'm gonna do. eggs and spaghetti. What I love is that you can use leftover spaghetti, but I'm gonna be honest, I did take out last night, so I'm gonna make fresh spaghetti. Giancarlo is filling my pot because boiling water is the hardest part. We're salting the water. Okay, eggs are in, we're pouring the milk. I already put a little in, but I wasn't filming. I've decided that we're gonna mix some cheeses.
We're getting crazy.
Okay, pepper and oil. Okay, and then we measured this, and it's essential because Dan said so. I'm actually afraid to drop my phone in this, but we're gonna risk it. These eggs are not breaking.
Why do you do it? Shut. Let me do it.
And this is why Giancarlo's here.
What the hell? God.
Thank you, chef. So I'm like a hardcore anti-breaking the pasta. Like I hate when people break it to fit it in the pot. What do you think? Like it's infuriating
I
to
don't
me.
want to upset you.
Exactly. I'm ready, chef. Is this your pro tip?
Get the cold water running and put it over the pasta so it doesn't keep cooking.
Oh, okay.
So it's not all mushy when you serve it.
Do you have a favorite burner? Mine's the front
Whatever the
right.
biggest one is.
We are putting the pasta in. Oh, that was not what I thought it was gonna sound like. This is so much pasta, we're gonna feed like a whole village. Okay, I'm gonna be really honest, I don't have a cover to this pan and we have to let it sit for 5 to 8 minutes until the bottom is golden brown. So we're just using tin foil because that's innovation, right, chef?
Yes.
Okay, the resident chef said that we are close but not quite there yet. We're checking the edges. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god. We're doing it! That looks so good! Okay. What is this, chef?
This is a knife.
Thank you. Okay, there it is.
Looks like egg pasta pizza.
And I'm so excited to eat this. Dan, so we can add some hot sauce. So I'm putting some Mexican hot sauce on the plate. Okay, first bite. Okay. I'm like struggling. There we go. Cheers. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers, chef. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's like crispy on the outside and then like the inside is like eggy and soft and delicious. And that is a pasta frittata. I really wanted to keep it real with you guys. Like I didn't do my dishes in the sink. I don't have a cover for my pan. We were just really keeping it real. And I loved what Priya said, like not everyone has the same skill level. Clearly. And I just thought it'd be fun to like bring a friend in, make this. It was great. Like pasta breakfast stuff is not, I feel like, very common, and it was a really cool recipe, really great texture. And I think the hot sauce like really added to it too. So yeah, and it was like really simple ingredients, like really simple. And I think that was like the goal. I had everything in my kitchen already except eggs. I had to go grab eggs because I was out. But yeah. Anything
You can be on the next season of The Bear. You're ready to go.
Yes, chef, I agree.
The video
It
is
looks
great.
just like the recipe.
You thought so? Yeah, I mean, I thought so, but it was, and like I said, like Priya said earlier, like I didn't have parm, so I used Romano, and like it was easy to like substitute things and get like the same results, and you can always make things to your taste. And I think that Dan's recipes really allow you to do that. And like sometimes he gives alternatives, like if you don't want this, like do this instead. Except the nutmeg. He said that was essential, and I agree. It was very good. And you know what? We did eyeball like the salt and the pepper and did it to taste, but we did not eyeball the nutmeg. Like that was something that we definitely wanted to measure out. But yeah, it was really, really fun. I hope that came through. We had a lot of laughs during it. Virginia thought we were gonna burn the hands off during the flip, but we didn't. So
I'm glad you still have your hands. And Grace, Julie Kadama says, I don't break the pasta either.
yeah, it just makes it harder to twist at the end. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
You want the whole thing.
totes. You did a great job. That was awesome. Yay.
Yeah, that was really fun and looked delicious.
I know.
All right. This is such a fun book. I cannot wait to put it on my shelf. It's called Big Dip Energy by Elise Whitney. So Elise Whitney is a writer, editor, and Cosmopolitan's first ever food columnist. Doing the Least with Elise is the name of the show, and a TV host. Netflix's Easy Bake Battle, Pressure Cooker, and the Big Nailed It Baking Challenge. And she's been cooking ever since she could reach the countertops, and spent she's Korean American Jewish adoptee who resides in LA with her two rescue pups, which you're going to see in a minute. And I just love their names, Miso and Ritz. And always looking for a new dish to transform into a dip. So this is everything that you would think this book is, with so many puns. Who is someone after my own heart. I love a pun. And this is just all kinds of dips. And there's dessert dips. And there's, you know, regular like savory dips. It goes on, but it's such a fun, beautiful cookbook. It reminds me a lot of Chicano Eats, and I loved that cookbook. We cooked something from it before, where it's just like a feast. I'm using this again, but a feast for the eyes. Like it's just so pretty and kind of poppy. Like you'll see this image. It's just, you know, like kind of like silly little things to find, little nuggets to find within the pictures, along with some really beautiful recipes. So that's one. And then you can see like she puts little fun things in the recipe book as well. You can see these a little bigger on Edelweiss if you want to flip through. There's some more. I thought I put the dogs in, I might not have. So that's on Edelweiss. You can look. And yeah, you can just see just a really beautiful, I mean, and there's so many skill levels. She shows you what kind of bowls to use. She shows you like, this is a big bowl, this is a medium bowl. And she also gives a lot of tips. I'll show you on my recipe. It says Chippy comes and helps you. It's this little character, and it'll tell you tips. And also she tells you how long you can keep it in the fridge, if it'll last up to 10 days, so you can make it beforehand. That's great. Also things to, I think, like the theme is you can change things up, you can make it your own, and she gives you those tips as well. There's really fun recipes in this one, and again, like I said, so many puns, which I love. What's really cool, I have it on here, is she does a horoscope dip. So you can pick what dip you are based on your horoscope, and we, of course, all three of us have done that. So we know what our horoscope dip is. And this is my recipe. I made a cannoli dip, and it was delicious. So I'm going to show you the video so you can get ready to make it as well. And I made mine before for a Super Bowl party. So I tested. Everyone loved it.
Hey, it's Lainey. I am super excited because we're cooking for Galley Gab Fest this week, and I decided I'm doing mine early, so I did the weekend before, but I'm gonna record and walk it through. So my recipe is from Big Dip Energy, and I've already started collecting stuff. As you can see, I have powdered sugar on me, and we are gonna start. I have all the ingredients. I'll show you a picture, but the first thing it says, we're making a creamy cannoli dip, so it's gonna be like a sweet dip, but she said the best part is that it's like not too sweet. So I have my recipe kind of laid out. I have a picture of what I use. I have my ricotta, mascarpone, I like I have to say it that way, chocolate chips, and sea salt and vanilla extract and some powdered sugar. And we're gonna put it in a hand mixer, and we'll we're gonna do that. I already have it kind of laid out. So I'm gonna do that off screen and then I'll be back. We whipped the cheese and the powdered sugar together. And then it says to add our vanilla. Here we go. We need 2 teaspoons. Okay. I feel like vanilla is one of those things that you think, add more, it'll taste good, and then a little goes a long way. Okay, so we have that, and then we have our orange juice, juiced orange, and then we have some zest that they want to add. I'm hoping this is enough. I've zested it off camera like a professional show, which is what this is. And here we go. Okay. So now we're gonna whip it again because it says it's a little runny. So back soon. Okay, so we're back. Did that. A little taste test. Yes, I'm gonna go wash my hands. I promise. Tastes amazing. So we have that. Next, we're going to put chocolate chips in. I ran out of chocolate chips, so I have a few white chips on here. The rest are those. It says to save some and put those on top with some sea salt. So that's next. We're just gonna kind of fold in the chips if you're a fan of Schitt's Creek, and then that will be done. This makes a ton. I'm actually gonna take it to a Super Bowl party. That's why I'm doing it early, and because this should not be in my home because I'll eat all of it. And we're gonna test it out. I'll show you the favorites. We'll maybe take a video while we're there. And so yeah, that's it. It's a little zest, a little orange, a little chocolate chip, lots of cheese, vanilla, and powdered sugar. And for dips, it said to use either waffle cones. So I have some waffle cones. It said to either, what you can do, these are your options. You can make them. There's a recipe in the book to make them. Or you can take a bag. We're gonna do this old school. Take a bag, put your waffle cones, store-bought, in there, and then just kind of like crush them. Now, and then so then you have a little waffle cone chips. And then also I got some little wafer cones, Hello Kitty, of course, and you can dip those. These are chocolate, so if you want like double chocolate, you can do, I'm just gonna do a bite, a waffle cone like that. So let's test it. Stop. My goodness. Let me get a chocolate chip in there. Waffle cone. Oh my goodness. Delicious. And the thing is, like she said, it's not too sweet. So, you know, you could eat a little bit more than like a cannoli, because it's a little, I don't think it's as thick as a cannoli that you would eat, but you could definitely thicken it up a little and use it for inside of a cannoli. That's delicious. And I can't wait to have it at my Super Bowl party. Here's what it looks like in the bowl. We're gonna put some chips on top because it looks a little nicer when you open it up. Oh, got some little flakes in there. Okay, and then we're going to put a little bit of sea salt, it said, just a pinch, and then, hold on, we are done. We have our beautiful little dip. Look at our little friend. She's down here. Come here, Piggy. You want to say hi? Okay, she.
Oh man.
That's a lot of excitement for you. What do you think?
Yeah, that was it. Fig was not, she was being a diva on set that day, but um yeah, it was really good. And actually, I think this speaks amazing because people ate it and they kept asking me for the recipe. So I think that that's a good endorsement. It was delicious. And I still have some in my fridge. A little goes a long way. I still have leftovers. But yeah, it was delicious.
It's a great video. And I love that it's that you brought it to the party and that book is so cool. It's got what is it? What does she call her little tips? She's got her little tips or something.
Yeah, I'll pull it. Let me bring it back if I can get my computer to work. It's called Chippy's Tips, I think. And they're really, yeah, Chippy's Tippy. Like she loves puns, which I love. So if somebody, Barbara, yeah, not for calorie counters for sure, but you can make the chips, the scoops. They're in the book, but I just took the easier route, and I thought it was really good. And mini chocolate chips, yes, but as you saw, I kind of mixed it up, and I didn't really notice too much of a difference. So if you want a bigger one, I think that's fine. Make it your own. But see how she says like make can be made in advance. How long will it keep? I think that that's so smart. And these are the yeah, like store-bought is Fran fine. It tells you where to find the recipes for the things that go with it. I will say I like the salt on top, but maybe a little salt in the middle would have been nice. I would have probably added some of that. But you can't really go wrong. It's definitely a pinch. It goes a long way. Maybe that's why I would have preferred it in the middle. Because maybe I am not good at a pinch of salt. But yeah, it was delicious. I think is that my it is. It's my last group of slides, but it's really a beautiful book.
Holy cannoli, Lainey, you did it.
I did it.
Yeah, it looks so good. Everything looks so good. This was fun, you guys. I mean, we got to have a live demo from a cookbook author, and then we, mixed it up here, and we all sort of rolled our sleeves up and got into the kitchen and did something fun. And it's just, I think, we all have different levels of, I say confidence. We can all do it. We just have to feel good about it. And but it's fun. It's fun, and we hope that this is, you found this helpful and useful to you. Cookbooks are big in libraries, and they're a great way to, just sort of, just kick back and try something different. So there you have it. There's us cooking in the kitchen, and we didn't put anything on fire, which is terrific news. All right. So everyone, Wednesday, March 6th, we're back with another episode of Writers to Watch. This is going to be a good one. We've got David Nichols and Rufy Thorpe and Kate Quinn, and we have potentially one other author who will be joining us. We're not sure yet. If that person can't join us, we are very excited with these three authors because they're absolutely wonderful, and they've all got a different kind of a story to tell, and all getting great raves too, which is super fun. But we're not putting the time in yet. We'll know soon if we're going to have a fourth author, and then we will put the time in. So check back, and we'll be sending an email out as well and some postings. But we hope to see you on March 6th for Writers to Watch. And is there anything else we want to mention?
Yeah, well, we have the survey I can show, but I just thought of this, but if they want to hear more about these books, they can go watch the replay from our world famous book buzz yesterday on Library Journal.
There you go. Can we put the link in? Do we have the link yet, or?
Yeah, let me grab
sure.
it.
Okay. Yeah, we were good. Gosh, we went past our time a little bit, but we had a lot of books to talk about, mostly from the spring summer list, and then a couple from the fall. That we're super jazzed about. So yeah, we started at 2, and I think we ended a little bit past 3:30. So but thankfully, as Lainey said, it's recorded, so you can go back and watch it. And we have an Edelweiss catalog that Grace created, so it's all right there. So Grace, you put it in the chat.
Yeah, yep. I put the link. You have to click register, and which is a little odd, but click register, and then it'll let you fill out your info, and then it'll show you the replay. And then I can also throw in the Edelweiss catalog from the buzz yesterday as well. like V just said, we buzz a lot of books, but there's also a ton that we put in roundups. So even if it's just a great resource.
Yeah, we did roundups of mystery and I don't know, romance and health and wellness and history and just everything. We just picked out some highlights from the forthcoming season. So, Lainey, you want to talk a little bit just about the survey before we say goodbye?
Yeah, I'll leave it up so you can get the QR code. We can also put the link in the chat because I know some people can't scan it. But we are well aware of our live video is not going on Crowdcast. We hear you. We're working on that. Don't think we forgot about you. But as we're fixing that Crowdcast issue, we want to make sure we're reassessing everything we're doing and making sure we're bringing the best episodes that we can to you. So if there's another genre or another topic you like us to cover, like these cookbooks, I think, this is something that came out of those kind of comments. Let us know. This is our writer swatch with the authors, so we want to know if the timing is right, if you want more authors, less authors. This survey takes maybe 5 minutes of your time, so it would really help us out if you would fill it out, and we would be eternally grateful. And we will get Crowdcast up and running hopefully soon. And thanks for joining us on Facebook until then.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Lainey and Grace, this was fun. And to Priya and to all of our authors who have written these wonderful cookbooks. We really appreciate what they do for us, and Eddie Massey and Eddie's Grocer and keeping it zesty. Here's my keeping it zesty tote bag. All right, I am going to turn off the blur for 1 second so that you can see my keep it zesty tote bag. Here we go. Let's see. Not going to blur the background. There's Eddie's Grocer bag.
So cool.
So like I always say,
Love it.
keep it zesty.
Keep it zesty.
Keep it zesty. Is that our new sign off, everyone? Keep it zesty.
I like it. Keep it zesty, y'all.
Bye, y'all.